Hello everyone. Today I'm going to cover the second chapter of operational excellence pillar, which is a part of Microsoft Azure Well Architected Framework. But however, it is a bit of a challenge to cover all the aspects of such broad topic. I would say. Therefore, I will try my best to give you a high-level idea behind this. I hope that most of you have gained a good foundational knowledge from last presentation series so far. Even Amila's presentation, which was about operational excellence pillar part 1. Before we start, let me introduce myself. I'm Asanka. I'm currently involving with Team Nurkat as a technical lead at 99X. So after this session, you can reach me if you have any questions or any concerns regarding Azure ecosystem. So I think let's start. So I think last presentation probably has covered 3 subtopics of operational excellence, application design. I think in this topic, you might gain some knowledge about how we are managing and designing the infrastructure with the most reliable deployment processes. I think something like infrastructure as code, maybe. I think Camila would explain some orchestration systems and containerization. So monitoring part, probably application and platform monitoring with inbuilt monitoring tools in Azure and some of the best practices behind monitoring. Some event correlation, notification, and other monitoring tasks as such. Application performance management is like from this topic, I think you probably might be able to know about how to optimize the build time and how we can things fast in the automated environment. So today I'm going to discuss remaining 3 topics which are also important under operational excellence pillar. The first one is code deployment. Actually, in this topic, you might be able to see while you are deploying your application code, how well it helps to determine your application stability. And when it comes with the Azure infrastructure resource provisioning, it helps to identify some of the best practices behind this automation process of deploying resources into Azure. So in the final topic would be the testing. Actually, this one is the another significant topic that describes the early preparation of preparation to identify any mistakes in beforehand without having any impact for end users. So I think these 3 topics I'm going to explain. So I am taking code deployment and Azure resource provisioning into one segment of this presentation. In here, I will give you a hands-on demo to clear some of the things and some of the concepts, because it is really hard to give an everything with in theory. So I think there should have some kind of a practical hands-on session how this code deployment and Azure resource provisioning is going on. So before we are going to the demo, just let me give you some theory behind this. Um, Automating the process of deploying application code, infrastructure provisioning will help us to minimize human errors, and also we can deliver solutions very fast, and it produces consistent and repeatable results as well. So the first point is automate as many processes as possible. To automate application deployment, we can use Azure DevOps services, Jenkins, or any other CI/CD solutions, and also we can automate the provisioning of Azure resources. The other one is use code to provision and configure infrastructure. That means this practice called infrastructure as code. It may use a declarative and imperative approach. I will explain those two approaches after this slide. And the practice immutable infrastructure means actually after it's deployed to the production, we should not modify infrastructure. So such changes actually cannot be tracked. So we might not know exactly what has changed. So it is really difficult to troubleshoot the system. So in that case, when comes with the automated process, I think it's really important everything is running with automated manner rather than changing anything in manually. So other thing is automate and test deployment and maintenance tasks. Actually, that means deployment should take advantage of proven mechanisms such as scripts, so that can be update and validate configuration, and also automate the deployment process. So I think it's really important to test all the processes fully to ensure that errors don't cause any additional downtime as such. So I think when comes with adding some additional test scan into our build pipeline or our release pipeline, actually it's really important. The other one is implement deployment security measures. All deployment tools actually must incorporate with security restrictions to protect and deployed applications. So I think defining and enforcing some deployment policies is really beneficial, and sometimes actually it is minimizing the need of human intervention also. Another thing is apart from the automation, there are other valuable points on this deployment process also. The one is release process. One of the challenges with automating deployment is the actually the cutover itself, taking software from the final stage of testing to live on the production. So I think the release process is really important because that is where actually we can maintain the staging environments and each stages, the UAT production and any other stages you are preferring. And other one is document release process. Actually, most of the times I have seen that some of the customers are really lack of documenting stuff. Actually, they are automating everything in the in CI/CD environment, but they are actually unable to document the release process. So without detailed release process documentation, so an operator might deploy a bad update or might improperly configure settings for your application. So clearly define and document your release process is really important, and it is ensuring that it's available to the entire operational teams, especially with the process team and the project teams. The stage your workloads, that means deployment to various stages and running test validations at each stage before moving on to the next. Ensure some frictions-free production deployment. So friction-free production deployment means actually we should need to ensure that our deployment is more stable. So that's what actually we need to capture. So I think with good use of staging and production environments, you can push updates to the production environment in highly controlled way. So I think it's really important step we should need to take on this deployment side. Other thing is logging and auditing. To capture some specific informations like because since we are ensuring some stage-based deployment techniques, actually we should need to make them as a more robustness. So in that case, we should need to follow up some robust logging strategies. So I think actually this is really helpful to determine uh, in which version we are most of the times we are moving the artifacts in correct production environment. Actually, when comes with the when we are auditing something, we can have all the histories and loggings to capture in which date in which time this deployment has happened in which environment specific. So I think it's really important the follow up this kind of practices. Rollback plan it's a it's a really important actually in when we are comparing with some of the standard legacy applications, actually the rollback process without having a proper rollback process, uh, we are actually little bit of uh, down like we are sometimes we are failing to deliver the values to the customers. So I think it's really important. So if a deployment fails, your application could become actually unavailable. So to minimize the downtime, I think design a rollback process and to go back to a last non-good version and then up and running. So I think that's also a good way of handling the fault tolerance. Other one is high availability considerations. So I think this is like sometimes we are talking about the single point of failures. Like if we are handling some large distributed applications, we can consider deploying across multiple regions. So I think it's a really important to improve some resiliency and scalability uh, and provision some multiple instances. So I think it's really important to minimize the single point of failures. So I think most of the times, some of the large distributed systems, they are always trying to using some multiple regional deployment as well. So these are few theories, I would say. Let me give you another slide. I think this one is actually first time I have mentioned that the declarative and imperative framework. So I think infrastructure deployment, when it comes to the declarative framework, I think it's really important to know these bunch of technologies that we have to automate the process, like deploying the infrastructure to cloud. So the first one is actually resource manager templates. I think most of you heard about these ARM templates. Actually, the ARM templates is current widely using to enable the automotive infrastructure provisioning. Um, and also it's in the Azure ecosystem as well. Another one is Terraform. I think this is a kind of a cloud agnostic declarative framework. I think this is supports for many private and public clouds. So I think we can some of the projects actually using Terraform configurations. So I think Terraform configurations are specific to each cloud. but the framework itself is the same for all of them. So that's why the cloud agnostic framework mean the advantages and offerings are there. Other one is Pulumi. I'm pronouncing it's like a Pulumi. So some of them might pronounce in another way. So actually, this is kind of another open source cloud agnostic declarative infrastructure as code tool actually, because the the real benefit of this Pulumi framework is like sometimes the most of the developers are uh, really fascinating about developing stuff with their own programming language. So if you are a C# programmer, so you are most of the times you are preferring everything doing with the C#. So when it comes with the ARM template, it's a really different way of handling some different notations, because it's happening with standard JSON and some of the attributes and so on. So, but Pulumi is providing some kind of high-level wrapper to write to a deploying infrastructure with your own the preferred programming language. I think right now Pulumi is supporting JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, C#, F#, and also Go programming language as well. So I think it's really benefit to get into your own IDE and trying to start with your infrastructure code by using Pulumi. Uh, so I think you can just go through those frameworks and get some more idea behind those stuff. So Ansible is a kind of another open source provisioning configuration management. I think most of the times it runs on Unix-like system, but personally I am not having much idea about Ansible. But I think it has some declarative YAML YAML markup language kind of some imperatives as well. So I think you better study on those stuff. But most of the times actually we are using in majority we are using ARM templates and also sometimes the Terraforms as well. So when comes with the actually the declarative means like everything is declare. So nothing actually we shouldn't need to worry about because it is really easy if I can get the understanding. So everything is there. But when comes with when you are writing normal Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell script, that means it is kind of an imperative framework. So sometimes actually, if you are more familiar with writing some high-level PowerShell script and some CLI commands, so I think you can use some imperative framework techniques. When handling some powerful like if you are unable to do some complex scenarios with actually uh, actually kind of possible to happen with the declarative environment, you can use some Azure PowerShell and Azure CLI scripts and commands to do your deployment stuff. And Azure SDKs is like a kind of uh, programming library. Actually, you can use this when handling some more stuff with the Azure pipeline, Azure services. So you can use this Azure SDK with your own preferred language. I think now it has been support few languages. Azure SDK has Java and C# also there. So these are the few things I should need to give. And other one is uh, when comes with the infrastructure as code, CI/CD tooling, and Azure DevOps. So it is really important to understand these stuff. Actually, the version control system should be there. If you are if you need to deploy your code into cloud environment, I think it's really important to have the version control system. So most of the times we are using GitHub and Azure repos. Um, so and also you can integrate some proper CI/CD tools to make things automated. So I think Jenkins, you can add Jenkins into your pipeline setup, and also you can use the Azure pipelines. Actually, Azure pipelines is really easy if you are dealing with, most of the times dealing with Azure ecosystem. I think Azure pipelines would be the easiest way of implementing proper CI/CD approaches. So I think the theory is, I think theory is enough for the moment. So just let me go to some high level demonstration. So I think I have created a small, actually I have created the DevOps project inside one of my 99x Asia account. So in this Azure DevOps, actually I can see there is Azure repos. We can maintain the repository. So actually I have written a small web API and using Azure table storage. Um, so now I need to create my CI/CD for this project. So that is what actually I'm going to do. So you can see when comes with the pipeline setup. So there are actually we can categorize the pipeline setup is two different way. So the first one is the build pipeline, and also we can have a release pipeline. So I think some of you have had some experience with setting up the build pipelines in Azure DevOps. So if you are creating a new pipeline, I think you it will normally, it has some kind of a wizard that telling you to select the repository, and if you are selected the repository, it will automatically giving you some kind of a standard predefined pipeline setup. So if your application is running on the .NET Core, it will automatically created the .NET Core related YAML template for your pipeline setup. So so just let me. I have created a one pipeline there. So just give me. So you can see. So it will automatically created some standard YAML pipeline. Actually, most of the times it will created as a Azure hyphen pipeline. So this is the default naming convention that the Azure DevOps is identifying. Okay, this is the pipeline setup for you, and this is written in the markup language we are calling YAML. So the YAML markup language has some standard attributes and standard stages to execute this building steps. So I think so you can see the first one is like trigger. Trigger means like in your coding when it comes with the code deployment strategy. So if your code has different branches, so you can trigger one specific branch. Okay, this if I have merge or commit anything into this branch, it will automatically trigger the build pipeline. So that is how actually we can so in this case I have given the master branch, so it will automatically trigger the master branch. But you, if you need to forcefully stop this triggering, you can use like trigger none. That means the triggering is not happening even you are running it manually. When if only applying when you are running it manually. So another thing is the pool. Pool is actually, it's really important. because this one actually given you um, what is the virtual machine image it is been going to utilize. Windows latest means actually the current Windows 2019 version. So so if you can find different VM images, some Linux images maybe. So every image will have its own some additional tools available to running some additional steps. When you are dealing with most of the times .NET framework, I think it's really easy to having the VM image with the Windows base. But if you are running some kind of open source application, some Node application or any other thing, sometimes it is really important to having some some Linux based environment. So that is how we should need to maintain this VM image, and we can maintain some variables. If you have some predefined variables, you can attach those stuff, and then we need to add some task under steps level. So this is a normal .NET Core web API that I have created. So in that case, the NuGet tool installer and the NuGet command will actually automatically comes when you are selecting .NET Core related build pipeline. And also this the Visual Studio build is also there, how the solutions should be need to be built. But you can customize according to your project. You can customize the build arguments, and you can specify some different configurations to attach with your project. But in normal, the most of the times, this is the default one is really sufficient for you to build the standard .NET application. And there's a test step. Actually, test step means it will automatically run your unit tests with attached with your project. And this one is the publish the build artifact. Actually, um, when you need to deploy your code, you should need to create the artifacts file before you are implementing the release pipeline, because because release pipeline should need to identify build artifacts and also your ARM files um, to implement the release pipeline. So in that case, I have added the publish. This is the build artifact for the build project, and also I have added some different two steps to copy the ARM template attached in my project into different artifact. So I will explain it a little bit more. So just let me go to the project. So you can see this is a standard .NET Core application, but I have maintaining my ARM template inside this code. So that means I have attached my ARM template into the code. So that means we can add this ARM template as a linked artifact for your release pipeline. So you can see I have maintaining Azure deploy JSON there. So this web API, as I said you before, this is a sample web API. So for hosting the web API, I should need to have Azure App Service, and also I should have a, since it is dealing with the storage, table storage, I should need to provision some storage account as well. So according to that, I have created this ARM template. I think to visualize the ARM template, just let me use the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code has the inbuilt IntelliSense and everything attached for the ARM templates. So I think if you are writing ARM templates, better to use Visual Studio Code. This is the ARM template in my project. So ARM templates is a different one because this one is actually using for provisioning the resources inside the Azure infrastructure. So here you can see um, some parameters are there. The schema is the standard standard identifier for a specific ARM version. So I think the ARM template definition and everything can be. Um, I think it's a broad topic for explaining all the things inside the ARM templates. So today I will explain some high level, but you can take another meetup for having some idea about for the ARM templates. So when it comes with the data side, you can see that there are some parameters. Inside there, we can declare some parameters. And also there's variables, and also there's a resources array. Within this resources array, actually you can add your Azure resources. So every resources will have a resource type. So there are a bunch of so much of documentations to find out the correct resource type for your Azure resources actually. And also when using the Azure portal, um, so I think in the subscription level, actually you can see the resource groups, and within that resource group actually you can find the resources inside of it. If you are taking a specific app service, actually we can see actually we can export the template on for a specific resource actually, but most of the times I am preferring to look at the documentations how to utilize the specific resource with your ARM template. So then you can find bunch of documentations how to using the correct resource provision. I think there's a one is export template. Actually, this one is actually generating the standard syntaxes, how this app service ARM template should be. But this one is actually attaching some of the other additional parameters as well. So some of them are not really important because those are attached with the standard Azure APIs. But at least you can get some rough idea how this app service can be created. So within that one, you can see the type is like Microsoft websites. So that is how actually I'm going to using the Azure app service in here. And also I can add some additional properties, and location is also there. That means in which region I am going to create this resource. And also there's a resource tags I can maintain. So in here I have added created by my email address. You can add whatever you need as a tags for your resources. I think it's a really good practice to having the resource tags for each resource you are creating on Azure. Because it is really helpful to operational manager or any other DevOps engineer can see, okay, this one has been created by this person, like that. And also when comes with the resources, there can be a, so in here you can see I have created the app service, and also within that app service I am attaching the app settings file. App setting file I have attaching, and I can link some of the connection string at runtime. So that means so in my code, so I am utilizing Azure stable storage now. So in here, actually, in my app setting file, I am using connection string for specific storage account. But that storage account, I should need to have a storage account connection string. Uh, but that storage account is being created in my automated pipeline. So uh, without having the resource, I cannot take the connection string. So in that case, I have to runtimely attached this connection string in my ARM template. So ARM templates, actually there's another resource provisioning is there for storage account. So you can see I am creating a storage account here. So so in that case I have depended that so the this app setting will be depends on this storage account. That means the resource provisioning order is really important for our ARM template. Other than that, runtime, Azure pipeline, when running the ARM templates, ARM template cannot find the correct resource without we are using depends on array. Without maintaining depends on array, actually it will give you some errors because this account can be taken from the storage account, but this storage account should be need to create first to attach this connection string. So that's how actually I am attaching these values into the app setting. So and also I am going to create another app insight. I think hopefully Amila probably explain about this application insight and how we are monitoring the stuff. So most of the times, if you are creating a web API, we are attaching the app insight because to see the application behaviors, logs, and any other live metrics, we can check from this application insight. So you can see in here, actually, I am going to create the app service, and I am attaching the app settings for this app service for this application, and also application insight and storage account. So these are the few resources I have created. So so this is time to create the release pipeline to automate the process. Yeah, now just let me go to the releases pipeline. So I am going to make a new release pipeline to create the to provision in the Azure resources and deploy this web API to Azure. Um, uh, Before that, I have created the new service connection for this project. The service connection is like 99x demo. That is the custom name I have given. So the service connection is like it's the trust between Azure DevOps and the Azure Resource Manager. That means Azure resource group in Azure portal. So in that case, if you are most of the times, if you are making with the Azure resource provisioning, you can use the Azure Resource Manager, and you can create a service principal for attaching like attaching some authorization permissions to access that resource group and provisioning resources there. So that is how I have created this service connection. So this service connection will help you to create this release pipeline. So let me create a new release pipeline here. That service connection actually attached with this 99x test subscription. There's a resource group called 99x demo. Actually, this is the resource group this is where I need to release my resources to Azure portal. So so it can be a ARM app service deployment. So there's app service deployment is there. So I can put it as a dev, uh, the stage name, and also I can attach the artifact. Artifact is comes from the build pipeline. So so you can see there's a sample data API. The build pipeline is there. So I am going to go the latest artifacts every time. So artifact is being attached. So then I should need to create the steps for this stage environment. So I can add the link for the specific subscription. Just let me add the link with this service connection and the app service name. Now how do you know app service name without before we are releasing the app service? So in that case, this is a drop down as well as this is behave as a text box. So you can inject the parameter. Okay, after my ARM templates has been deployed, it will create the app service name, something like attaching from this variable. So I can create a variable here. I will write site name. So I will give my I will give sample data API dev. So this is my variable. Yeah. So this is how I have added the deploy Azure app service part, but this is not enough. Now I should need to automate the ARM template. So I should need to add another task to this agent. Azure resource manager ARM template. Yeah, ARM template deployment. I can add this one. So it should be happening. It should be processed before this deploy Azure app service. So I can drag in here. So after the resource provision is done, we should need to deploy the project into the app service. So when ARM template configuration, I can add the resource manager connection and subscription is the test subscription. And in action wise, we can set the create or update resource group. That means if resource is there, we are just updating the resource. If there's no any resources, it will create the resource. That is how it works. And resource group, I will select the correct resource group, and I can select East Asia for a location. So now in here template location is like the linked artifact, because I have created that ARM artifact in my build pipeline. So I can browse those artifacts from by clicking these three dots, and I can see the linked artifacts. Under linked artifacts, there's a two artifacts is there. The first one is for the application build, other one is for the ARM. So I can select the Azure deploy JSON. Okay. If your Azure deploy JSON has a separate parameter file, you can attach that parameter file from here. If you need to inject your parameters at runtime, like running while running the pipeline, you can override those template parameters from here, like just clicking this one. You can see these are the default values I have added in my ARM template. Okay, if you need to inject some values at the runtime, you can attach it. So in here, I am going to attach my site name I have created before. So then it will automatically create the same site name I have added in my variables. Okay. So I think so. This is how I should need to add the configuration. So
Sankaya,
just let yeah.
small problem. Why do we need uh, ARM template artifact? I mean template. At the,
Uh, that means Malli, how release pipeline find the Azure deploy JSON. Like if you are attaching your Azure deploy JSON in your code repository,
yeah.
now it is there no, in the repository. So
Yeah.
so the release pipeline should need to find that artifact, find that file. So
Uh,
the when comes to the build pipeline, it will automatically create our build application. Like if you are .NET application, it will automatically create your project files, right?
yeah.
So as well as I should need to create my Azure deploy JSON file to because it is then the release pipeline can find that file in here. So
Yeah.
other than that, the template release pipeline actually cannot reach for the file from repository level. We should need to copy and paste into your build directory. Other than that, it cannot find me.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Okay, and
Asankai,
also yeah,
Asankai, I have some question on the ARM template. Can you go to the ARM template again?
yes, sure,
Uh, I the in the depends on array of the
yeah.
app setting apps web apps. There is do we need to add the app insight
App
also?
insight, yes, app insight is also should need to be added. Yeah, I think for the moment I have missed that one. Neither. Yes. So I think we can add the app insight also in here because I am taking the app insight parameter from here. Yes, I can add it from here, Malli. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So so I think that is how it works because the resources should have a kind of a dependent way of for each resources. Other than that, it will create some exceptions like that. So you can see I can attach with the resource ID with the correspondent app insight file, right? So right now, actually, I'm not going to use this instrumentation key in my project right now. So I can just remove this one for this moment. Now, then I can attach with that one to the later stage. Yes, for this one, ARM template, you can see this is the configuration I have put. And this is how actually I have added the Azure app service and how it should need to be deployed. So these are the only few steps that I should need to add. So then I can add the correspondent naming there. So I can like a sample data API release. Yes, right. So I think yeah, now release is there. So if you are going with the so this is the development stage. If you need to add some other stages for different subscriptions, you can add it as the same way I have done. And also I can make this you can see this is icon. These icons will use like to automate the process. Like if something, if we added some commits into the repository, it will automatically trigger uh, to the release pipeline also. So once the artifact is updated is there, so then it will automatically trigger the release pipeline, and we can add some branching filters. Okay, it it is only applicable for the master branch. Other branches it is not applicable. If you need to add some other branches, you can make some another PR build PR release stage if your project needs, according to your project needs. Yeah, so this is how it works. And also from before we are triggering the release pipeline, I can attach some additional approval stage, some pre-deployment approval, like that. We can set someone else email address. Okay, once the trigger is done, he or she will get notified. Then after his approval, that release pipeline will start, like that. So this is how the pipeline is working. Uh, so I think I can just while it is running, just let me go to the presentation again. Sorry. Other part is the testing part. Actually, uh, testing is actually one of the fundamental components, right? So, and when it comes to the DevOps, agile development in general, so we should need to have some testing strategies to implement our product, our project, especially. Um, so I think most of the times our testing guys, like QA guys, are doing some kind of a like shift left approach. Like they are something like, if we are releasing some of this stuff into the production environment, that means left to right concept. So then after the testing means it is not the testing the after the final stage. Actually testing means we should need to backtrack, like from end to start, we should need to track everything and cover the every testing scenarios, like that. So testing has the automated testing has three different testing site for the unit testing, smoke testing, and integration testing. So when comes with the unit test, actually it is really important as a developer to find the business case and write the unit testing inside your application, and it will help you to gain your code coverage as much as possible. And when it comes with the smoke testing, smoke testing is a some high level way of handling. It is like a mid level from unit testing to integration, among unit testing and integration testing. So smoke testing, actually we can do some verify some the expected functionalities and performance is there, like that. Uh, Smoke test actually usually involve building the application code, and if infrastructure, possibly testing the deployment is a test environment. So I think uh, it is really important to map some smoke testing in your project. So I am not the good person to describe in the testing side. I think it's a part of a QA. Another thing is integration testing. Integration testing is like if we can have some kind of integrated environment like database or any other storage account, any other file servers. If you can have some kind of do some integration testing and build up your business logic, that means it is really important to have do some integration testing, because depending on that integrations, the business logics has changed. So in that case, it is really important to have the integration testing also. When it comes to the manual testing, actually, hopefully everyone know about this acceptance testing. Actually, acceptance testing is really important. The everything is correct and order, like the requirement is is a technique actually performed to determine some uh, actually everything is aligned with the requirement specification. That is how accepted testing is working. So I think there are various forms of acceptance testing. Is there some user accepted testing and business acceptance testing. Some alpha testing, beta testing is also applicable for this accepted testing as well. Stress testing is like we are putting some high level. That means we are targeting our system is has gained some more stability or more reliability, and if you need to uh, come up with a plan, okay, my system should need to be upscale, my system resources should need to be scaled up. So in that case, we can do some stress test based on that. So if our stress test is failing in our current resource environment, that means we should need to scale up our resource environment. So that kind of decisions we can take stress testing. Other one is business continuity drills. I think this is how we are focusing on business cases, and according to the business case, we are providing some test parameters and test cases to do some manual testing. Sir. Other than that, the fault injection and exploratory testing is some of the other categories I should need to give. But some of the terms actually I don't have much understanding about this exploratory testing and such. But fault injection is kind of like we can target like some of the negative way of negative testing, that if you are dealing with some kind of a framework level of development, that means you cannot guarantee the developers what is developers are going to do in your framework development framework project. So sometimes they might have had some infinite loops inside of it. So in that case, we can target some negative based testing into our framework level developments. So that is how actually the testing is there. So this is the part of the operational excellence as well. That's why I have taken this testing stuff for this presentation. So I think I think it has been failed. Probably there might have the issue with just go to that issue and I can see yeah, something has happened. uh, yeah, probably there might have reason the as is Sandun has mentioned. So I think so probably there's have a bad request is there. I can see the deployment logs normally in the resource group level. That is how we are troubleshooting the stuff. So you can see the storage account and application insight has been provisioned, but others are failed. Some according to some issues. So we can see the fail happening is there. So I think site name is not there. Variable is not there, I think. So probably. So we can specify the I think we should not put the dollar mark in here in variable level. Actually, we can just put the parameter name. The dollar sign is actually if you are uh, consume in that variable, that means you have to use the dollar sign. That is the issue, I guess. Yes. This is how we are accessing the normal pipeline variables. Pipeline variable can be defined something like this. So yeah, I think that's all from here, but we can see the status. I think neither for a few minutes. I think I just see how it goes, and now this is the time if you have any questions. So I think we are almost past 5 p.m. right? Do you have any questions, guys? I don't know, because since it is not easy for discuss everything within given time period, but you can have any questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah.
Asankaya, I have a question.
Yes.
So you mentioned that we can use Terraform and Ansible likewise services also for other than these ARM templates.
Yeah.
So is it the same process as doing this? And if so, do you see any advantages for ARM templates rather than using Ansible or Terraform?
The thing is, Malli, the ARM templates actually is having is we are the everything is the by having the ARM templates is really easy for us to learn this automated resource provisioning, because the resources, and we can find so much of resources from their GitHub repositories as such. And also it is really well applicable for our Asia ecosystem as well. So I think it's better to learn ARM template first, because everything is there, and if you are working with the Asia environment, so that is how Microsoft has come up with this strategy for implementing this ARM templates. And also the Terraforms is, other than that, it is a cloud agnostic framework as well. But I don't have much experience with this Terraform side, but I think you can try that one and see. But my suggestion is like ARM template is easiest way of learning to how to deploy the infrastructure in the correct way, like that. Um,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So I think the pipeline has been done. Probably resources, yes, resource there. So this is the one, actually the previously created with the bad variable name. The application insight has been provisioned with that variable name that I have provided earlier. So these are the three main resources for this one, and also you can see every resources has the tags created, and also I can run the one, and we can see if it is working or not. Yes, it is a Swagger documentation I have attached. Yeah, it is working, and I can just put a post message there, and I can see it is working or not. Yeah, it is added, and I can just, let me check with the get one. Yeah, it is can be get, and let's go to the storage explorer, and we can see the table storage. Okay, the sample API data storage, yes, is there in the table. Should have a user data table. Yes, I think now it's working in cloud environment. So that is how we are creating the automated process and templates and stuff like that. So I think this is the operational excellence part too. Yes, thank you.